This one's gonna be a long one, boys. You're doing the backstory of Simon K. Williams, my titular character. He has had quite the eventful life. Now, this is only about the original. There are other different variations. There's a Mafia version, there's a werewolf version, there's a Reaper version, and there's a version for an alternate roleplay, which is the House. That's all the current Simons. There's a chance more might pop up in the future. Who knows? Might bring back one that's just classic Simon and it's just fucking Shadowwind. There's a chance I might decide to do that. But his evolution as a character started as Shadowwind, a knockoff Shadow Freddy. I'm not kidding you, that's what he started out as. And then, throughout the course of a good portion of 2019, he slowly became Simon. Now, on to his actual character backstory. Simon K. Williams was born to Walter Joseph Williams and, mind you, Simon, by technicality, by definition, is a bastard. His parents are not married. And Jennifer, what was her middle name? I don't think I gave one. Oh well, her last name's Cienza. Simon is the middle child, if technically, of 4 kids. Those being Danton, Ruby, Simon, and Chloe. Simon, by birth, had brown eyes, as did both of his parents. Ruby had heterochromia. Well, Jennifer had heterochromia. One eye was brown, the other eye was either blue or green, one of the two, I don't remember. I'll have to take a look at the thing for Ruby, because she has the exact same eyes. Now, Danton is a half-brother to Simon. Ruby is also a half-brother, but Danton's Walter's son. Ruby is Jennifer's daughter. Correction, brain. Chloe is a full-blood sibling. She's the youngest. Simon, at around age 4, had a spirit or ghost named Kyksis. Kyksis is perpetually stuck as a child. Kyksis was originally from the 1300s. But, because of the fact that she's been around since the 1300s, she's seen how much society that has evolved. So she's still relatively up to date. She's essentially fused or tethered to Simon's soul, turning Simon's eyes yellow. Now, there's no way to put this slightly. Simon's mother was a cunt. She was an absolute cunt. She physically and emotionally beat the shit out of Simon. However, she did teach him how to cook, which is a good thing. There's one good thing. So, yeah, Simon has a bunch of cuts and that all over his body. He has dark brown hair. However, he had his right eye cut. So he's blind in that eye, and that's the eye he covers with his hair. Like a good chunk of his face, a good chunk of the right side of his face is covered with his hair. Now, his main outfit, leather jacket, one of the few gifts from his dad. Walter was working most of the time. He worked 2 jobs to help provide for his family. And also eventually moved to Utah, as did Simon and his siblings. And, well, Jennifer stayed behind for a short amount of time. Walter and them moved to Utah so he could get a better job. Ironically, that job was Fazbear Entertainment, to which he still works today in like his 40s. He's in his 40s. Simon is currently 25. He was born on October 13th, 1997. And then, so I'm going to leave out the Simonette shit for now. That will be part of a separate video. That's because I know y'all will most likely greatly dislike it. But you'll deal with the fact that Simon's canon ship is him and Charlotte. Because my version, souls age, bitches. It's canon that they age. Technically, Charlotte would be in her 40s. She died in 1980. She would be in late 40s. Early 40s. She'd be like 43. But for the sake of it, My version, my thing, souls age slower than humans, but they do age. So, she's in late 20s, early 30s. There. It's a much closer age, it's a much smaller age gap. Simon is in the dead middle of his 20s. He wears, most of the time, leather jacket, jeans, and whatever shoes he can find. They're normally boots or just whatever fucking running shoes or sneakers he can find. Now, Simon does own a red suit with a hat. It is not a red fedora. It is either white or black and white gloves. He also has black pants and white shoes for that suit. That variant is actually the I don't know how to actually say it, Matryoshka or whatever. The actual name of the Russian nesting dolls. It's that variant and also a song. It's a song that there's a cover that's featuring Karainu. However the fuck you say his name. I've never really learned. So now he's great. Go subscribe to him. Now on to a bit more of a very Simon specific thing. He is a major coffee addict. That is one main thing about him. And he jacket carries a Desert Eagle in 5080. He's also the member of a band known as Mission Kill. That's made up of him, Frank Maroon, Jack Maroon's son, his Aunt Quilly, who's closer to him in age, and his friend Ryan Peters from high school. Simon graduated high school. He went to college only to study guitar and that to make it better because he didn't know how to do guitar. Now, for a short amount of time, Simon lived with a co-worker of Walter's, Aiden, and, Aiden's significant other, Knight. He lived in their guest room because he got evicted because he had nowhere else to practice guitar. And so, yeah, he lived with them for a while. Also, they're in their 40s. Most people Simon knows and are friends with are way older than him. They're closer to his dad's age. It's funny to think about. Oh, and then there's Ansel. Ansel's a bear succubus. Yeah. She doesn't mess with Simon because she knows at this point she tries to, holy water spritzed at her. So they're just friends. They're friends. She doesn't mess with them to the point where Simon feels safe having her phone number. And her fucking ringtone is CPR by Cupcake. And it's fitting. So yeah. Then there's you said there's Ansel. Then there is Mendo. Mendo is a character that Mendo is a tiny little robotic endo. Yes, same spelling as Mendo from that world. Not they're different. Made by Jack. Jack is a fucking lunatic genius, literally. He's crazy and he's a genius. He was born in 1900. There'll be a separate video for Jack Maroon. But yeah, Mendo was a mischievous little shit. Yep. Originally, Simon's canon to Simonette started out as a stupid joke that slowly became canon. And it was originally Simon X Marionette. Then, more recently, 2020's era, 2020, 21, and late 1920, and most of 2020 became Simon and Charlotte. And despite the fact Simon actively has a girlfriend, he's still a virgin because he's busy most of the time doing shit for the band. He has a YouTube channel that's mostly bloopers for Mission Kill and whatever he decides to upload. Then, Simon's friends, I've already told you about Peter. Yes, he's friends with Peter. And there's there's Riley John, my brother's phone dude who's a stoner. There's Ronald Gonzi, Ronnie. There's Sorry. He's also friends with HJA and most of his siblings, except for David. David doesn't really leave the house much. Don't worry. There will be an entire video on Alexander's kids and Alexander, all the same video. Then, oh boy, Simon also has been banned from a few different Fazbear Entertainment locations for reasons I will not state here. And I also make a video just talking about my FNAF AU. Also, he's also friends with a man in his 60s named Jim Ryans, who's a smoker and pretty fucking old. He's like 62 or so. Like, he's in his 60s, either his 50s or 60s, one of those two. He's pretty old. Oh, and then there's another version of Simon that's older and less chaotic. Then there's, then we have his, his shenanigans with Frank at the Pizzaplex. Mostly Frank getting Simon into trouble by breaking the shit out of Randy. Simon gets dragged into it. Yeah. Then there is the fact that I don't care TikTok. And that's it. Yep, that is all for this video. Till I can think of more things about Simon. Actually, no, it's not. Simon, when he was 13, was in a band. I have not thought of a name for the band. The lead singer, I think her name was Janet, went missing for quite a while, and that's why the band disbanded. He's pun fully intended. And Simon's also by technicality Afton because his Aunt Quilly married Frederick, which is my younger brother for William. Yep. That's how I'm shoehorning Simon into the Afton family. Fuck you. And also, he mocks Aiden a lot. Aiden is French. Kind of. Simon's also old enough to be one of his kids. Now, I said, Aiden's in his 40s. Simon's 25. Fair, Aiden worked at Fredbear's, so did David and Jim. Also, Jim's nickname is Han. Also, yeah. That is all. For now, goodbye. And that was the backstory of Simon. To the best of all that I can remember about him.